Everyone, and welcome to the January 18th meeting of the Traffic and Transportation Committee. My name is Kelly Buford, and I am the chair of the Traffic and Transportation Committee. I'm getting feedback.
He's unmuted.
Thank you. Yes. In the room with me, I have Chris Calhoun, who's vice chair, Sylvia Alexander, Ingrid De Leon, Mary Ellen Gibbs, and Josh Land. Committee members David Gelman, Eliani Lobos, and Ted Morris are not present. With that, I would like to welcome everyone to tonight's meeting. I'll give a bit of housekeeping rules, if you will. It's okay. you said whoever, okay. I'm sorry. Housekeeping rules. We have people in the gallery. Typically what we do when there are people in the gallery is you're free to express your opinions. We ask that you do so in a professional and courteous manner. I am going to keep track of the time for the meeting. I am also going to limit comments to 2 minutes. If individuals have already expressed your concerns, in the interest of time, we ask that you actually defer your comments, but you can always write in your comments to the board office via the email address that's available on the website. Does anyone have any questions or comments regarding that? Then I will move forward. I thank everyone again for your attendance this evening and move forward with the chair's report. As noted in the minutes, I did have a walkthrough with the Bronx DOT Commissioner regarding the City Bike Program based on our last meeting, on the December meeting, the November and December meetings, actually. We met on December 19th. They did provide some feedback to us regarding locations. They mentioned that there were some locations that we reviewed that they would consider relocating the bikes. However, they did note that it typically takes about a year for that to happen because they would like to review data as it comes in as far as usage. And I'm sharing this in the interest of transparency so that people cannot say that we did not share this information with them or they had no idea.
At the door, somebody's ringing.
They had no idea that the DOT was going to make those changes. See it light up over there either.
No, I'm getting a text from.
No, it's okay.
Oh,
But
okay.
it should light up. If they ring the bell, it should light up on the monitor there, and it's not lighting up. Did they come in?
Somebody texted you, Chris?
Yep.
Okay, there's no one there, she said. Still have quorum, so we can move forward with the next item on the agenda, which is the approval of the committee meeting minutes of the December 21 meeting. I ask if any committee member has any questions or comments regarding the minutes, direct them to me. Okay, thank you. Is there a second? Anyone oppose acceptance? Okay, hearing nothing, the minutes are approved. Next item on the agenda is the 69 Stevenson Place concerns. Are representatives from 69 Stevenson Place on the call or in the room? If you are on the call, please raise your hand and we will unmute arrange for your line to be unmuted. We'll come back to that item. The next item on the agenda is 3616 Hudson Parkway concerns. Are representatives from 3616 in the room? Thank you. And who will be the lead?
That'll be me.
Okay, can you please just identify yourself for the record?
Erica Noy,
Thank you, Ms.
co-op board president.
Thank you, Ms. Noy.
This whole mind-bending situation started in February of 2019, and to this day, there's still no resolution.
Okay.
we've had multiple problems and it's been getting worse. At that time, traffic in the area was getting exponentially, increasing and getting busier. A lot of construction, a lot of new buildings, a lot of people renovating. People were getting, you know, I guess, bigger cars. And it's posing a danger to the people on the street as well as the people in our buildings. We have two garages. One is an upper level with a ramp coming down that curves, and the other one comes directly out. Between the two garages is just slightly over a 30-foot grassy knoll with a hydrant in the middle. Only people were using this as a parking area. Well, if you have 15 feet on one side and 15 feet on the other with a hydrant in the middle, there's no way you're gonna park there legally. So in order to maximize their area away from the hydrant, they overhang into the ramps for the garage, which makes it very difficult for people to get out of the garages. I gave 2 packets with all the evidence, guys, showing how cars are overhanging the yellow lines. Plus, you have traffic that bypasses Henry Hudson Parkway at 50 miles an hour up the middle of Netherland Avenue with no regard to the fact that it's a two-way street. We have a lot of families with young children, a lot of nannies, not just in our building, but in the whole neighborhood. At that time, there was also families from St. Gabriel's. We have Hebrew Institute with nursery school, people coming and going. And it's just, the fact that nobody's been killed yet is amazing.
Ms. Lloyd, can you stop for one moment, please?
Where is this?
It's 236th Street on Netherland where it curves in and hits Henry Hudson Parkway Service Road. The Hebrew
Monument.
Where the Hebrew Institute.
Approaching the monument.
Yeah, Netherland Ave, it's on Netherland Avenue between West 236th Street and Henry Hudson Parkway. It's a two-way street, yeah.
Sorry?
There's always a shortage of parking.
Yeah, it's right off Johnson Avenue where all the shopping is. So, and now, that little knoll, very often there are 3 cars parked in each driveway and at the hydrant.
Okay.
I've even seen people take garbage bags and put them right on top of the hydrant, and then and I'll say, excuse me, that's a yep, okay, and they walk.
It's a hydrant.
And I've stopped police cars and said, could you please ticket? And they look, they drive away. There's no regard for the legality of this. So if you follow down this timeline, and I did this, I'm not gonna read the whole thing, because we'd be here till 10 o'clock. But through all of this, with the support of both Dinowitz's, Councilman Cone, Navardo Lopez, Dan Paternak, who used to be on your committee, and various other people from both Dinowitz offices, letters and emails went back and forth. Those are the numerous pages in here in date order. This was all approved. So they came, they took down the alternate street parking sign. Gone. Okay, fine. No parking anytime sign went up at 236th Street between Netherlands and Henry Hudson Parkway.
Okay.
Like, that was
In the wrong place.
in the wrong place, on the wrong street. Okay, so that was a mistake. So then they went to Henry Hudson Parkway, where there's a hydrant, and put up a no parking anytime sign there.
No standing.
No standing anytime. Also the wrong place. A couple of months later, they took that off. Then, there, somewhere here in the email says, oh, we don't put no standing, no parking anytime for hydrants, and we don't put them for private driveways. Well, if you look in the back, I think it's the last two pictures, there are two no parking, no standing anytime signs for private driveways on 239th Street between Blackstone and Henry Hudson Parkway. So how can you tell me you don't put this up when it creates a dangerous situation, pull out of a driveway into traffic, when here are two buildings 2 blocks away that have the exact same situation?
I'm sorry, I don't see the pictures that you're referencing.
They're at the very, very back.
The flooding photos?
Oh, that's the other packet.
Okay.
That's the other packet.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't get that
That's
packet.
Smaller packet.
Okay.
No, you have, that's the flooding packet also.
Got it. I have it.
Okay.
Okay, is it possible that you can send this to the office, your packet that you distributed? Because it really, in order for us to make a decision or to really discuss it in earnest, everyone here would need to be privy to the same information.
Sure.
And we don't have that. And I just want to make sure that we are discussing the right things when we,
Listen, I got my printer to squeak these out on a deathbed today. I will scan them in and I will send them to you tomorrow.
If you have them printed on a computer, you can just email.
These were pulled together piecemeal from
Okay.
5 years' worth of emails and everything else.
Can I say this?
Kelly, there are pictures here that show where the hydrant is
Okay?
and where the cars park.
Okay.
Obviously is illegal,
Correct.
should be ticketed, but they're not ticketing in the Bronx.
Right, if I have
I was told today.
the towing in my block for it.
Not ticketing in the Bronx?
And
I think some of my neighbors would beg to differ.
To it too, because I've gotten it.
They're only ticketing for registration and inspection, not endangering people's lives by blocking a hydrant.
Okay, Chris Calhoun, thank you.
Sorry, I'm an ex-teacher, so when I see it.
Whoever you,
okay,
whoever
it's
you
okay.
like better is fine with me, I don't.
Chris, and Ms. Levinson, we will get to you shortly, okay? You can lower your hand, please. Chris Calhoun, then
What I
Josh
wanted to
Land.
say was, the, packets that you squeaked out of your printer today, since you're part of a conglomerate committee that came here, if you could leave those behind, I would love to take one home with me and review it, because we're all sharing it here right now, and, I mean, you can, it's just a thought, if you don't want to,
No,
I'll purchase one online on eBay when it becomes available.
hardcover or softcover?
Whatever's cheaper, you know, that's,
Hardcover makes
if
more
you'll
money
autograph
for
it,
you.
I'll meet you right at the location. No, not right now,
Okay.
I need that for reference, but I would like to just be, I do agree with a lot of stuff that you're saying, but I just wanna look at it, and
Mhm.
as Chair, Buford has said in the, her statement, that it gives the committee more education and to review everything.
Right.
Just to make one other point, when we're, the major problem is when we're coming out of either driveway, you have to literally inch out, but since it's a two-way street and you can't see because there's cars parked along by the hydrant and whatnot, you have to just go into the other side of the street to make a right-hand turn, because you cannot see anything because of the cars blocking, just to give you a... No, I understand what the picture you're trying to paint, it's like a blind area. Like you see, I can think of one building in that general area, there's a mirror that right by that, speed camera, whatever, shows traffic coming out. Some buildings have put mirrors out so that traffic can see what's coming, and that's not a luxury that we have everywhere, and
Sylvia brought that up, what the situation, because of the position of our ramps, we do have mirrors, but we can only have them for pedestrian traffic. Because of the position of the ramps, you can't see the traffic because there are cars parked there.
Right.
Particularly the lower garage, you come straight out, there's no ramp, there's no anything. And if you have a car parked on both sides, you can't see anything on the street. There's nowhere to put it without not looking at the street in order to try to see the
In it,
traffic.
may I just add that in between the Henry Hudson Parkway and the driveway is another apartment building. It jots out, so you have to be able to look around it. Therefore, the mirror doesn't show the street, it only shows the pedestrians.
I pass it every day.
Yeah.
I don't know if the point was made, or, that this, our request was approved previously by the committee, and it was all set, and there was an individual who put the kibosh on it. He, whoever took over, so
Mr. Kalb.
his
He
predecessor,
took over after Lopez left.
yeah, Mr. Lopez had,
Okay.
was ready to put it in, but then all of this was, negated by the individual you just mentioned, when he took over, said, you know, not gonna do it.
We
So-
had a DOT,
So that's just some of the background.
within the packet, we have a DOT work order. The investigation was done by DOT. Jeff Dinowitz, in here are, Google Earth photos, they're black and white, that actually show the car, show the distance, show the measurements, that there is no way for a car to park 15 feet, even 12 feet from the hydrant and clear the driveways, unless it's a smart car.
So I'm not sure with this, that we've made it clear what we want. What we would like is the sign, that the alternate side of the street parking sign removed, and if possible, a no standing anytime sign.
The alternate parking
That's it.
sign is gone.
All right, it's gone. So a no standing sign, if possible, to emphasize that you're not allowed to park there
Between the two driveways.
between the two
It
driveways.
should say no parking, not standing.
No standing includes.
No standing.
Standing overrides no parking.
Right, no standing.
Yeah.
And since that's a hydrant, and since it's a hydrant, I would think that it is appropriate, but that's what we
Well,
want.
that's one of the things that Keith Kalb said, is that having an alternate parking sign there would be confusing to drivers. What driver in New York City doesn't understand you're not supposed to park by a hydrant?
That's gone anyway.
So,
But that sign's gone anyway.
yeah.
You're not, we
We're not allowed to do that.
We can't do
They're
that.
not allowed to paint. DOT cannot paint. And I say this because, last year we had an issue, and one of the comments, and it related to a bus zone, because someone said they wanted markings in a bus zone, and the deal, they're not allowed to mark the sidewalk.
Problems with people.
Of the police,
311.
But if you give the license plate.
of a particular car.
Yeah.
We've had residents call 311 about the cars in the driveways, in the, well, the police, the 15th precinct, unless you bypass and hit the button for either special victims unit or the detectives room, nobody picks up. Don't pick up. If you call 311, you get a ticket number, and they come like maybe four days later, or 3 days later.
When
And
you,
you're not gonna call 911 for something like that.
right, that's what I was getting, thank you, Mary Ellen, for raising that issue. That's what I was getting ready to suggest, is when someone files a 311 complaint, if they can also forward that 311 complaint to the board office, the ticket number, and then the board office can also track it and aggregate the data
Mhm.
as well. Maybe another way to help. I'm not saying it will help you in the short term, but long term, if
There's power in numbers, and the board
But
does
just
follow
follow
up
up
on
with
this
Well,
stuff.
maybe the board could get involved in getting the precinct, answer their phone, or get a civilian person on the phone,
You
or,
can certainly ask the precinct to find out why the precinct,
they have a new captain.
that's something that I will speak with, the chair of the public safety, or you're vice chair, right, Mary Ellen?
Yeah, but I'm.
We're both on
We're
public
both
safety, and I have to tell you, do not gonna, make an excuse for the 5-0, but I can tell you, we were just with my, committee member here, Mary Ellen Gibbs, we're in a meeting, and other stuff comes up throughout the whole neighborhood. And this precinct covers a wide swath, bigger than a lot of people know. And talk about the tires being stolen from the catalytic converters and whatever. And they try to explain things, and, they're stretched pretty thin.
I know.
And we're actually in a lucky portion of the city in the fact that, we don't see the type of crimes that other areas of the city see.
I know.
Yes, we're getting all this automobile stuff going on, and then other stuff goes on, and that's where, it's the other precincts that get all the address, like, oh, we're gonna put more manpower there. And again, I'm not trying to come up with an excuse, I'm just telling you, I was just at a meeting the other night with Mary Ellen, and correct me if I'm wrong, they're stretched pretty thin.
Don't have that many cars and.
We talk, she brings stuff up like, I saw a car with, no tires on it, again, can't you?
We had one right across the street on Netherland Avenue.
We have 2 sector cars, and that's working the whole precinct, like at night, like whatever it is. And this precinct covers Van Cortlandt Village, Marble Hill, Kingsbridge, Kingsbridge Heights, Spuyten Duyvil, Riverdale, North Riverdale. That's a huge swap, so that's all I have to say about that.
Okay.
It's on the, and, cause they
Well,
started out with.
sometimes on the overnight, it's like 2 or 3 sector cars, that's all they have.
And then they have problems with, like, cars get damaged in, like, the parking lot, and it's just, nothing in the budget, you know, they just.
I encourage you to attend a public safety committee meeting,
You can come.
if not the community council meeting, either via Zoom or whatever, and you'll see, they lay it right out to us.
Gotcha.
I am going to come back to you and give your, neighbors an opportunity to speak, but I did ask Ms. Levinson, yes, let's go back to Ms. Levinson.
Hey, Wendy.
Yes, sir.
Hi, thank you, good evening. So I'll just add in terms of the no parking and the hydrant is, the hydrant is locked a lot, which is a real safety concern for 3 buildings on that block, the synagogue. There's a lot of elderly. And one of the vehicles that's there quite often, they're large SUVs. So it is impossible to see with the mirrors. The vehicle completely, the SUV that's parked there will completely block. And there are so many elderly people in the neighborhood that it's really frightening that you're backing out and you can't see. You could honk and honk, but you have a petite elderly person who maybe doesn't hear so well, it's really frightening that you cannot see them. Thank you.
For your input. Yes, Ms.
Am
Kramer?
I able to speak? Yes, hi. Good evening. I just wanted to add that I've been working with Erica for about over 4 years on this issue. And just the other day, when I came out of my garage, I could not see a thing. I tried to turn right. I have to swing way out into the other side of the road in order to pass the car that's parked next to the hydrant in order to make the right turn. And a car came careening along and was beeping at me. So I just want to lay out for you how dangerous this is, getting out of my own garage, because there's no visibility. That car can't see me because of the curve in the road, and I can't see that car unless I'm in the middle of the road. And that's the end of my testimony. Thank you.
Thank you. So your ask again is to have a no standing sign installed near the garage?
By the,
By the hydrant on the median that's between the 2 garages.
if for whatever reason, I don't know the rules, it says no, you can't put a no standing sign based on what told previously, I don't know if that's true or not, at least then a no parking anytime sign.
Can you reiterate the addresses or the closest address where you want this sign put?
I think it's 3601 is no, 3616 is the Henry Hudson
That's
Parkway.
the front of it, yeah.
building. I believe the
So
garage is
3616?
3601
On the Netherland Avenue side.
on the Netherland Avenue side.
3601 is the building across from our garages. That's the back of that building, but it's 3601 Johnson. So this is the back side of 3616.
And the
That's the entrance to our garages.
You come out on
This
to
is where I'm
Netherland.
gonna want your packet, because
Right.
I'm gonna take a drive over there and look
Right.
at it myself.
Because I walk every day.
Maybe we'll have a picnic there tomorrow.
No, we won't, not in the swing, not in the swing.
Snowball fight.
No, we'll go to Lehman's, they're having a big sale.
On the way home from work, I can meet you.
We'll see how that goes.
Well, you let me know what time you're gonna be there, I'll meet you.
Yeah.
I'll give you a tour.
Are you gonna be there?
I live there.
You know,
Then you're not getting a
I'm
package.
sorry, what, I didn't, what's your name again?
Elion Loeb, no, Chris Calhoun.
Chris, since you're gonna drive, if you wanna do something, I'll give you my number, you call me, okay? I'll meet you there, I'll let you go up to
I would be happy to do
the
that.
driveway, and you could come down and see what we're talking
I
about.
would be
Hopefully,
happy to do that, and that way,
I guess I'm chopped liver.
what's that?
huh?
I just said that's the same thing.
She said she would do it already.
Oh, did you hear that, Chris? I didn't hear that.
I don't know what's going on.
Me neither, evidently.
I would be happy, you know what, leave your number with me, and I would be happy to meet you there. And that way you can really give me the lay of the land, and that way I know what I'm talking about.
Great.
Thank you. Ms. Kramer, you have an additional comment? Can you unmute her, please? One moment, Ms. Kramer.
Oh, you're
Hold on a second.
muted.
I know, I'm gonna let her. There we go.
To know that she's not talking.
I know it, no, I'm asking her to unmute.
Excuse me, I was muted because I keep coughing, I'm sorry. Just wanted to point out what Erica and I had looked at 4 years ago, that on West 239th Street, on the other side of the highway, on the west side of the highway, exactly what we want is signage is placed at 2 buildings that are between Henry Hudson Parkway West and, what's the big through street?
It's on 239th between Henry Hudson Parkway West and Blackstone.
And actually past Blackstone, the next building, the next block has the same thing. That garage exits from those 2 buildings also have signs that protect the driver coming out of the parking garage so that they can see to the right and they can see to the left. Because obviously cars park right up to their driveways, and those 2 buildings have exactly the same signage that we are looking for. So you might want to start there, looking at those, when you do your tour and then buy your chopped liver. You might want to start there.
I'm never gonna live this down. Let's not digress, okay?
That week.
And I appreciate that you will come,
Extra $4 for the top liver.
Yes.
and I
continue, Ms. Kramer.
appreciate that you will come and look.
Thank you very much. Our pleasure. Yes, Ms. Sarah.
Sandra.
Sandra, I'm sorry.
I didn't know if, this topic was closed, but I just have a question in terms of the meeting agenda. At what point can you introduce a new topic?
Under the section where it says new business on the agenda.
I try to look online for the agenda, so I didn't know the following.
Is there? Okay, well, there's a section on the agenda.
So that's why, and I wanted to come and introduce myself. Much.
Thank you. So we still have work to do. So the first order of business is we're gonna make sure that the committee gets a copy of this packet that you sent around, because we do want to be able to see what our predecessors did, and we don't wanna go in blind, okay? But we are also going to speak with DOT, and
Is, what's his name still there? Cal?
no, he is not. the new, Bronx commissioner is Mr. Perez, Anthony Perez. He just started, in December, the borough commissioner for Bronx DOT. He's a nice guy, yes. Well, he appears to be a nice guy, I'll phrase it that way, from my brief interactions with him, yes. Okay?
Would you say we're being recorded?
He appears to be a nice guy, and they appear to be, DOT, we have a good relationship with the team at DOT, so I can actually, ask the board to reach out to him and, review this information. But initially, you all would want a no standing sign or a no parking sign if a no standing sign is not possible. Is that correct?
Exactly.
No standing anytime, yeah.
Does the board have, it could be, I do need to draft a resolution for that, to submit it to DOT. Does the board have, the committee have any objections to what I've just asked?
No,
Where do I send the packet?
well, I'm gonna take one from you tonight.
I am going, where's my phone?
You even have my handwriting on it.
You know what, you can put, my new buddy down there, put his phone number on it too.
You can
Because
email
I'll
the,
be in touch with him.
thank you, Chris. You can email the packet to the email address that's on the agenda, the top of the agenda, in the top right-hand corner.
Well,
Oh, okay, the BX08, okay, CBNY.gov, okay.
Yes.
it won't happen tomorrow.
Let me know, I get it, 1:30 or 3:30.
Okay, if you
That
can,
would be new business, no?
No, it's on the agenda.
Okay.
The second part,
okay.
which you have a packet up for there already, that's the flooding in front of the building.
So, again, I'm gonna ask, because I only see this, I was handed this, and this was his packet, and he deferred to me as the chair. Well, we have a second. So again, if you could email,
Yes.
send these to the office, that would be helpful. Josh, have you seen it?
I'm aware of the flooding there.
Okay.
need site drainage.
Okay.
We also need,
It's not site drainage.
a retaining wall that, or I should say, there is no retaining wall.
Okay, can we,
Lack thereof.
time out. Thank you. So I would ask that you please go through the issue from the beginning, what the issue is.
The issue is, my name is Stan Dubin, D-U-B-I-N. I live at 3616 Henry Hudson Parkway for the past 30-some-odd years. During that time, or at least the last 20 years, there's been flooding on the Henry Hudson Parkway East Service Road, directly in front of 3616. Flooding, as you can see in the packet, and I'm not gonna take a lot of time because the pictures are evident. Flooding is so bad when it rains heavily, which we're getting a lot of rain lately, that it goes right into the courtyard, right into the front lobby and the garden before the front lobby, completely flooding and inundating that to the point where it, at times, just gets into the main lobby. We have to put up all kinds of, pumping machines to pump the lobby out, et cetera.
And that.
The issue is not just the retaining wall, the issue is that the curb itself is not properly taken care of. The drainage in front of the curb or on the side of the curb on 3616, the service road, backs up with leaves, backs up with debris. Members of our own building go out there regularly before any large storm that we're aware of and actually physically remove the debris. But when it rains heavily, and it certainly has and will continue, the flooding, once again, is massive, to the point where, I've seen it already, where the police have to shut down in front of the building because the water is up to the wheel wells of cars. And that is a public transit, service road. Major buses go back and forth there,
And school buses.
and school buses, and drop children off from school.
Now, they used to have that problem at the Parkway House. City redid the retaining wall in front of the Parkway House and took away the grassy knoll with the soil and all that, and did a concrete retaining wall, and did a concrete, like, sidewalk where the steps are. Ours is still soil and mud and leaves. So when there's a heavy rain and the parkway floods, we get runoff and splashing from the highway, and the north end of that retaining wall goes down to almost nothing for line of sight probably for the cars exiting. But what happens is all of that runoff, and since there's no curb, it just goes into the street, so you have 4 inches of mud. All of that runs into the one sewer line that's right in front of our building, which then gets all clogged up. So the water just goes up and up and up, and it looks like the Everglades in front of the building.
I just want to give you a location, we're talking about the service road on Henry Hudson Parkway between West 236th Street and Netherland Avenue. Now, one thing, when both Erica and Stan said, there's no curb, what they're alluding to is because you're headed north. On the right-hand side, which is our building, there is a curb, but what we're talking about is on the left-hand side where the embankment comes down.
Well, you can
There-
see that in the
there-
picture.
There is no curb at all, okay? And it just, as Erica said, the dirt from there and everything gets debris and washed. But the real critical issue is a little further up where the retaining wall ends, and the water runs right off the highway and washes all the way down the street, taking the leaves, which you'll see in the package. There's 3 feet deep of leaves. It gets washed down into the sewer, blocks the sewer, and transportation very often stops because you can't get through there. So it's a dual thing. I mean, I know with the retaining wall, they'll need a little bit of they can't be the same height because it would block people coming off the highway right there. So it would have to be, modified. But that's one issue. But the other significant issue is with Erica's, what happened in the Parkway House on that side, they put a curb there, which we don't have,
At the bottom of the retaining
at the
wall.
bottom of the retaining wall, that whole left-hand side of that,
But what
that
they
street.
also did, there is that whole retaining wall where the kids do their skateboarding. They don't have the soil, and the soil where we are, there's no vegetation to hold the soil. So it all runs off, and it's just a muddy mess.
So have you broached this issue with the committee in the past? If so, when?
No, I actually brought it up with the city,
Okay, when?
and I sent I actually called 311, they told me who to send it to, I sent it, I gave them the exact location, I got an email back, we examined the situation and don't find any problem, and then they gave me the location that they went to, and it was 3 blocks south of us.
Have you filed a subsequent?
Oh, 'cause I was in the middle of this, and I just got so aggravated, I just said,
I'm going to ask that you please not get aggravated. I know dealing with the city, right? And dealing with many places these days, is aggravating, right? But if you could please lodge the complaint again, get the ticket number, forward the ticket number to the board office, and then this way we can actually go look at the site.
I can show it to you when you're there for chicken liver tomorrow.
You can go to Chris.
First of all, I'm gonna tell you something. This isn't happening tomorrow with the weather that's coming in. So hold off on the chicken liver, but I will be there, I promise you.
And we have to have chicken liver, we come now, okay?
I do have a question, though.
I'm not done speaking,
Oh, I'm
and I
sorry.
have the
Go
floor.
ahead.
Thank you. So
Sorry.
if you could do that, that would be helpful. This way we have the tracking mechanism, because if a complaint doesn't exist, the problem doesn't exist, okay? We will also, look at this spot. Chris will be our eyes and ears. I'm familiar with the area. When the weather is favorable, I can go up there also and look at what you're speaking to. And we will also ask the board to memorialize it, and this issue will be memorialized in our minutes. But again, if you could put it in a call to 311, get a ticket number, send it to our office, because we can also, give that ticket number to the councilman's office and the assemblyman's office, and then they can look into it as well.
Okay.
Thank you. Chris, then Josh. You had your hand up, right? Thank you.
Your name at the end there, sir, Sid?
Stan Dubin.
Stan, sorry, whatever. We should all get name tags, but we'll work on that next time. You mentioned that people from your building come out even and clean the sewer grate, like to give, my quick question is, does the catch basin or catch basins, but I only heard there's one in the area.
That's true.
Does that need a severe cleaning? Because sometimes DEP will come in with one of those, you know, those things that come in the mouth
Very
and pulls all
loud,
this
yeah.
gop out, and it's not enough. Just a quick, you know, quick and dirty. And if that's something that needs to be addressed, we can look into that as well. But if, I'm not gonna say that that's the cure-all to your problem, but it might help mitigate the situation a little bit.
Chris, it's really the issue of, there is nothing to stop the dirt and leaves.
Everything on the slide from the opposite side.
Coming in, and on top of that, since it's on the curb, it's legal parking, very often there's cars parked right over that sewer.
Okay.
So that exacerbates the problem.
It holds stuff back. Okay, I understand. Okay.
So it's not the clean, because when you clear it, it actually works.
That's what I wanted to hear.
It works, exactly.
Like it's one of those where it just
Right,
is filled and just goes.
No.
Okay.
It doesn't last.
I think a geotextile grid. One thing. Other option is you can,
City property.
The catch basin, if you don't, if you don't stop the cause of the problem, the catch basins, the same thing's gonna happen to the catch basins as far as that goes. The leaves will just block it and we'll still have flooding. When you come in and you actually see, the pictures pretty well define what the issue is. But, unless there's something there to stop the erosion, it's just going to continue happening, no matter how many catch basins, you know, you put. Sorry, what?
Can we request that?
I don't understand when you say a grid. There's a grid for what?
An overlay. An overlay that goes on the dirt.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Oh, it's like a netting.
Right.
Maybe that's something we could.
Yeah, whatever, well, okay, that's a good
Easier than a
suggestion,
retaining wall.
but that begs the issue of the curb that is not there. That should be there on the left-hand side.
We would need like a two-block piece of netting. Go from 236th Street
To Netherlands.
all the way up to Hebrew
To the exit.
Institute.
So that exit.
We're our building is a full city block. So it would have to go from all the way down where Parkway House ends, all the way up to where,
Exit.
to where it exits. It's a city.
Not out. On this side of the highway?
Josh, Ms. Sylvia.
I think that this situation, first of all, being that it started in 2019 and it hasn't gotten much better, and DOT has done what they thought was needed, and it was the wrong thing to do. I think that probably the best way to handle this, although I'm not against getting in touch with 311, but, have a walkthrough just like you did with the bikes.
Right.
But seeing is really the answer to most problems.
Right.
Because it's too complicated, even with the pictures and everything else, it's not the same as actually seeing it.
Nothing replaces your eyes. And that was how I got DOT to come out for the city bikes, because they said, can we do this via Zoom using Google Maps? And I said no, because Zoom does, the maps on the Google Maps does not reflect the sense of community or the topography or the change in topography and things of that nature. So I understand what you're saying, but I still would like for them to memorialize it with 311. This way, we have a tracking mechanism, and then we can take the issue forward from there.
Right, but I just wanted to say that down the road, sooner rather than later, there should be a walkthrough, and,
I'm gonna,
all these people,
gonna make
present, and they will point out exactly where the problems lie.
We can definitely try to arrange that, but we're in a time of and I'm not just being dismissive at all, but we're in the season right now where, you know, if it blows too hard, we may get snow. So that's always a problem, so I don't want to promise anything.
No, I don't ask you to promise, just
Okay.
on the table.
Okay, thank you. Yes, but I do believe walkthroughs are invaluable, because you see it through a different lens. Thank you. Are there any more issues with 3616, because we need to?
it's ready.
That's it.
Okay. Well, thank you. Again, if you can send copies to the office, we will make sure all, committee members get a copy.
You folks keep those copies, that,
Yes, we can keep it.
I'm gonna meet up with you, I will
Maybe
call you.
leave us,
yeah, okay, fine.
You know what I will do, is I'll leave this here and I'll ask the office to
thank you, 'cause I gave mine away.
copy one of these.
Chris has one of those.
Erica,
Huh?
here, send this out, if you could give them.
Thank you. That whole thing.
No, I'm gonna give, because I gave mine
Hi,
away.
hi, hi. Chris, what are we doing? Giving Chris's phone, is this the phone number? The contact?
That's the contact.
Thank you.
I gave mine to them.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Welcome to stay, but you're also free to leave if you like.
Thanks very, you wanna?
whatever you wanna do.
No,
I'm ready to go get a drink.
That last name is near and dear to my heart, Dubin.
Thanks very much for your time, folks.
Thank you.
You folks do.
Thank you for
Dear
the
to my heart.
presentation.
Thank you.
Huh?
Thank you for the presentation.
We went to school together.
Mary Ellen?
Glenn Dubin,
Mary Ellen.
Right.
Glenn Dubin,
Mary Ellen.
and his wife is a physician.
Yeah.
He owned a hedge fund, and he sold,
All right.
he
Good night,
sold it to
everybody.
Citibank.
Thank you.
Lives in the same building that bought Jackie Kennedy's apartment.
Thank you all for your time. Thank you for raising the issues.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
I'm curious to hear your new issue, but they're driving.
I don't see representatives from 69, for the 69 Stevenson issue, are you on the call?
36.
That's 616. Crystal is from, Councilman Denowitz's office. In the interest of time and not to bore Ms. Sandra, oh my goodness, I did it again.
That's okay, we'll put it in the minutes.
Sandra, does
How you doing, Sharon?
does any committee member object to moving new business to the top, before we go through the budget items, so Ms. Sandra can
No objection.
ask her question? No objection. Ms. Sandra, you have the floor.
Thank you. Sandra Spiro, moved to Riverdale about 6 months ago, to 4705 Henry Hudson Parkway in the Windsor, coming from Sleepy Hollow. So first of all, I want to thank you for your service. I was a Board of Trustees for 9 years and on the planning board, so I know the time and dedication it takes. And for that reason, that's why I'm here, because like you said, you need to be there to
Right.
really embrace how you conduct your meetings, and I learned a lot through watching the process. So why I'm here today, I went to a board meeting about 4 months ago,
Okay.
the co-op board, and it was brought to my attention that over the span of about 8 years, there was ongoing discussion of a drain issue. Right when it's on the Henry Hudson Parkway, going west, coming up to 246, So Windsor has two buildings. I'm in 4705. This is relating to 4901 Henry Hudson Parkway. It's got, terrible curbing, going on. I believe there's a catch basin issue. It becomes flooding, and where the safety issue becomes is that there's a bus stop. It's right at the point where people come for pickup and drop off to 4901. And it's running a real public safety at this point, in my opinion. So the reason why I'm bringing this up, in working with the board president over there, Jennifer Ray, I have numerous emails that have gone to assemblymen, following up. I don't know if it went to report to 311. I found that quite interesting. But I will tell you, there's been continuous dialogue. I believe it's DOT. I believe that people have come out there to flag it, and then something gets stalled. So I'm here before you today. My ask is, can we take a look and examine this? Whether it comes for a walkthrough, I would like to stay involved. I made that commitment to the board. I'm one of the shareholders and working with Jennifer Ray. So at that point, I'll take a pause if there's any questions.
Location is 4901, the catch basin by 4901 Henry Hudson Parkway.
I believe it's right, yes, I believe it's the catch basin. I mean, I have only seen it tremendously flooded. So I don't really know where the remedy is. I don't know if it's having a problem, but and then the curbing is deteriorated. There's multiple factors.
The curbing is deteriorated?
Yeah. And I have pictures. We can collect this a little bit more. You know, I was bringing it up as new business to find out what you need, and then we can assemble a packet for you, for sure.
That would be helpful.
Yeah.
My question to you is, do you know if, in your short tenure in the building, if someone has observed DOT or environmental, what is that, DEP?
I never saw DEP.
Meaning, it's clearing the catch basin.
I know, that's why I wanted to see what was important. I'm familiar with a lot of the different processes. I didn't see DEP in here. I did see DOT. And then to, you know, from what I can see thus far, is that it gets to a certain point and then it doesn't move forward with action. Yes. Well, the church is in the middle between the two buildings. So it's actually pretty flat. And in addition to that, from a public safety standpoint, just kind of layering it on, is that while there's the bus stop there, the light is out. And so, yeah, add insult to injury, you got a real problem here, the light's out, you can't see, and you got a bus stop, so.
Well, there's 311 on the light and all that, and
You know-
and recent 311 calls for all that stuff?
You know, I don't know, but that's what I just learned from
Call that
watching,
in,
and I'm
call
gonna
the
do
office.
that. I will do that, and then we'll make sure that gets forwarded here, absolutely. So I will bring these suggestions back to the board over at our co-op, yes.
Is that right in the bus stop? Because there's a mailbox
No.
there too.
No.
It's tested, it's closer to the church between the two
Right-
buildings?
Right in front of the entrance of, 4901.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that.
No, I appreciate that. I was bringing the bus stop up simply because I see a lot of traffic
Mm.
that's going back and forth. And then the other thing where it becomes a real issue because of the bus, that's where I was kind of queuing in there, is because the flooding comes out so far, it could be like a couple of feet. Then when someone's being dropped off, it gets pushed out, bus can't get through, then the cars go up ahead, and it's right when you're coming off the exit.
Exit right
It's
there,
a
right?
it's just a disaster. You know, wherever I can help to bring it forward, I want to be able to do that, because I'm reading emails from 2017.
Again, if you, similar to what I shared with them, if you can recap, because
I will.
all of us that are assembled here, we're relatively new
Yes,
to the board.
okay,
So it would be great to have the history
yeah.
and I'd have to look at it. And we do have someone from Councilman Dinowitz's office. Crystal, are you able to speak?
And actually.
Hi, I'm here.
Do you have anything that your office would need to perhaps assist with this situation?
I mean, I would need definitely the 311 complaint because it's actually helpful for them. And then the exact intersections, and if there's pictures to show what's honestly like the bigger issue, because I have had many complaints also with, around I'm not sure if you guys are aware of 242nd Street. Near a bus stop, it's very dark and it's dangerous for pedestrians waiting for, the actual
That's the
bus.
general area.
And yeah, and then there's cars coming, traffic, and God forbid, an accident can happen without no one even realizing it. So that's one thing that I'm also working on with DOT as well. Yeah, and the council member is also aware of it.
Thank you. Actually, it seems like timing is kind of perfect if they're working on that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Crystal.
Of course.
you, Josh.
And you guys can always reach me. I'm not I know Farah has my information. You can always pass it along and they can always reach me at my cell phone number or email. I'm always there to help. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
of course, thank you
appreciate it.
guys.
That's your question?
I'm taking her name down. Yes.
It has to do with the pitch of the road, it
Yeah.
should drain properly, that means March and the runoff goes to the drain. Might not be pitched correct. Water runs off, the runoff is the problem, it's not absorbed, it collects more as it rolls off the pavement. And so the third issue is where's it going?
Mm-hmm.
So you can suggest a catch basin, what you have is like a 10-foot pit underneath, you could add another reservoir to
Yeah.
hold that, holding tank for the water. You can add for that second, like you suggested before.
It's sister. You sister the catch basin.
We go into one. The fourth thing you could ask for is permeable, like sidewalk, so it's, the water can drain properly. Or if pavement, it actually gets absorbed more.
So I find it interesting, so I should actually ask, and those as recommendations to be done? I mean, if that's the case, you were pretty,
The road isn't pitched correct.
I agree. And the thing is, I've only seen it when there's been so much mortar, I could not even get a true diagnostic on it. And then there are cars, and then there's all these cars around it. So that's where I do see that there's like 3 or 4 things that are interfering with it. So I have no problem offering some solutions to it. You mentioned some suggestions, so if maybe I can just get that list real quick.
Sure. Pitch of the road.
Yeah.
Likely, if they have,
Well, we tried to get on that schedule.
they have a plan.
They never put this road on it.
Is Henry Hudson Parkway West? Henry Hudson Parkway West, wooded across streets?
Well, it's the exit of 246. Right near the church. Right, yeah, and then you see the church right over there. Okay, yeah.
You need to make sure that certain sides overrun.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the drainage.
Catch basin,
Mm-hmm.
that's what it's called, a catch basin.
Yep, I know.
And if they have one already, you could suggest hold the water, and that would hold like a typical 4-hour rain event.
Okay.
It's 8 hours.
And you said this only happens when we have like the heavy rains?
I think it's happening more for, yeah. It is definitely, it's not just that, but it's exaggerated, obviously. From what I've seen here. So, and I know that every one of these touch points are in these emails, when they've decided to retrain it, looking at the catch basins. However, I don't know what's been done, how it's been done, when it's been done, so I think to resurface it and start from a new starting point.
And we can also we do have a resurfacing, ask them for a resurfacing schedule. And that's something that will be, the community board's takeaway, is to ask DOT for an updated resurfacing schedule.
Thank you. For DOT. The updated?
Resurfacing schedule, because they do it, obviously, this time of year, resurfacing is not happening.
Yeah, yeah, no, I see that.
But it will probably, it may be on the schedule already for the spring. But I do know because the weather was favorable,
Mhm.
for some time, they were able to move up some of the scheduling that was scheduled for the spring of we're in 24. The spring of 24, they moved it up to the fall of 23, so they were able to get in a few locations. So we can actually, ask them to confirm if that area is scheduled for repaving.
I have one question, just to see where to follow up on it, is the curbing. Resurfacing is different than the curbing, so who does the curbing, the DOT?
The DOT or the property owners, depending on where it is.
So
Can I say something?
who determines that?
So go ahead, please.
You can also, if, you can also reach out to DEP. I know DEP normally deals when it comes to heavy flooding, and curbing repavement as well. Yeah.
Okay. We'll call 311. I will recap this information. I'll look forward to your minutes. And I'll put a recap together and we'll send it to your office.
That would be awesome, because what we will also do too, since it does appear to be an ENS issue, environment and sanitation issue, we can, actually raise the issue with our colleagues on the Environment and Sanitation Committee.
Great. I appreciate it.
Does anyone else have any other new business that they?
And again, thank you for putting me on early.
And you can also too, and I don't know if you've done this, email the office with the, at the email address at the top of the agenda and ask to be put on the mailing list, if you're not already on the community board mailing list.
And
Because I send out a number of email blasts throughout the month.
so if we wanted to get on the agenda, then that's where we can make a request if some of the board members wanted to come, just as you had this here. Okay, that's why I wanted to get into the business. Okay, thank you again.
You're welcome. Our pleasure. Stay safe, be warm.
Thanks for being
Being
patient.
I know how it goes.
Okay.
Is there any other new business that anyone wanted to raise? So,
Can I just?
second and independent? Yeah. I'm gonna give you the spiel that City Bike, that DOT
You know
and
what, I
City
got a
Bike-
couple you can
Yeah,
take
I was
away
getting
from
ready to
around me,
say,
just,
there are a
I'll
couple-
unbolt them tonight with you, and we'll just roll it over there.
We've asked city, and then I'm sure you were, privy to our discussions, right? On numerous occasions to expand the City Bike program into Riverdale and Spuyten Duyvil, right? And their response is, they roll it out in pieces, okay, and they'll get to it. That's the best I can, and what's the location, 249? 249 and Independence. There's also, do you have the link? If you don't have the link, if you go to the link, you can actually request that location also. But I will make the plea again, and say, this is what we need. Indulgence again, can I go to old business? Okay, anyone have old business that they wish to raise? Ms. Sylvia, I'm still waiting for a response on the study, okay, for 235 at Oxford. And then I will look at the information, that DOT did provide for, based off of our city bike tour. I'll share that with the team as it.
Periodically have a cop car sitting there watching the traffic, and then if they're gonna be blowing through that stop sign right there.
And we also need to, because I raised this at the meeting, see if they've had any cop cars up by, the W Hotel. The issue that was raised at the, yeah.
It came up again in public safety, we brought it up to them,
Yeah.
Okay.
big time. I mean, like, really, it was really, what's her name, Laura really pressed them on that.
Oh, I do have one item. I don't know if it's new or old. The only one that probably would remember this, because I brought it up. Well, actually, you would remember it, during budgetary time.
Okay.
Deb Travis was also part of this committee, where
Okay.
the retaining wall is Riverdale Avenue that starts at about 235th and runs down to 231st Street, you know, the large wall.
Mm-hmm.
I had brought up as a budgetary issue, maybe to get the graffiti cleaned off there and maybe, protective coating, and then I was told, no, that's more of a 311 issue, or no, it wouldn't be this way or whatever. I am pleased to announce
Yeah.
it's been cleaned from end to end, and I don't know if DOT did that, but if you remember, my final comment was, okay, if it turns into a 1970s subway car, because they started to tag it all the way down, there were about 9 to 12 tags on it, you know what I'm talking about, and now it's clean.
Yeah, the 311 rule is, you call
I did call 311, I put a complaint in,
sanitation department comes immediately.
and they cleaned it,
Yeah, they have a graffiti
so
clean.
I just wanted to put that out there.
They just put it out
Terrific.
recently.
Thank you, Chris, for that information. Okay, so now we can get into, and that was a great segue into the budget, the 2026 budget. It always,
On there.
you have something?
Ooh.
So we can, this session right now is just floating ideas out, putting the ideas out.
I'm floating it out there, 'cause it's
And
gotten
so-
worse and worse and worse and worse.
And so earlier today, and I don't know if individuals had time to, look at what I sent around, but I did send around the budget that TNT, the request that TNT submitted last year, as well as the full request that was submitted to the city on behalf of the district. So is something that you're going to ask, already on the list? Is that something?
I think it was on, and I didn't see it at the end being on there,
At the end, when you say it was on what?
the last meeting on budget, I didn't even see it.
You didn't see it on the list that was submitted
I
to the
couldn't-
agencies? Is that the list you're
Right.
speaking to?
Right.
Okay, so what is the, is a list that, it's a matter that originated in TNT?
Yes.
So here, I provided the TNT item.
Make it shorter. The overpass, the 235th Street that I kept on bringing up, it's really crumbling up there. I mean, people almost gonna break their head up there.
That's the 235th pedestrian walkway.
Right. It's
It
crumbling.
is on this list, but when they prioritized it, it's on number 29 on our list. Okay, so you're,
Bling enough.
Somebody's gonna break their head on there, and
Okay.
somebody's gonna fall.
so 230, so,
Tons of
We
holes,
can-
cracks.
and you know the routine, we can just put stuff on every year, right? Until it gets resolved. Until they give us some information as to when it's to be capitalized, okay? So, I understand what you're saying, so that's item one. Okay, so we know that's a given. Are there any other issues that we should be aware of in the community, within the district? I do want to, Safe Crossings project, that's something that we should highlight, as well as the, what did we do, the Bailey Corridor?
What is the, I don't think of this, what the street is like, 'cause I come out of work around 230, I would say 238th Street in Johnson, when it goes into, crosses Johnson and to go towards Citibank.
Okay,
238,
by Chase?
for that, on Johnson. If you're walking back to Johnson, that street
Mm-hmm.
definitely needs crosswalk painted in there. It's so big, 'cause we have,
We're talking where like the, almost like the doctor's office is on the corner, and where the bus stop and the rail link behind, and the rail link lets out right at the corner before it goes up to the monument, before it
I don't think it lets out there.
does.
No, that's on the Henry Hudson Parkway side.
Henry has, so I'm asking,
talking on the
the
Johnson
street,
Avenue
is,
side.
I understand it's the Johnson Avenue side, but I'm trying to
Right,
get
yes,
context.
that's why I did say that.
So that's
No,
what
but
I'm
I did
saying.
say that. But I did say that. That's where it comes from, that
Okay,
right
okay.
But I did say
Okay,
that. It's on-
okay.
Right there when you turn there.
So it's right where they have the yellow markings in the street.
No yellow marking, it crosses the street, 'cause I'm there every day.
There's a yellow marking.
I go tomorrow, 'cause I work right there.
The yellow markings is almost like they put an island. It's like a fake island in
The
the street.
island's over here. Here. There is the
How about this?
All right,
It-
wait,
it-
no,
no, no.
Let me explain. Here's the parking lot.
When you said you're over there every day,
Yeah.
right? So since you're over there every day, look up and see what the streets are, the street numbers are, because we have a tendency to forget what the streets are. And I'm not making a joke. I know I do.
I would say it's 237th
It's
Street.
okay, but we wanna be sure,
All right.
because we're going to make the
Because it-
request, right? So we need to be sure.
There's so many seniors that cross that street there, I mean, including myself, to go there, and those cars just come like, whoosh, and it's a crosswalk, and it'll slow them down seeing the crosswalk there. And then, if you continue on, when you come to Chase Bank on Riverdale Avenue, both sides of that street, that needs a crosswalk as well, or a traffic light, because I'm telling you, this is what happens. The next block, there is a traffic light, but you can't see that traffic light there to time it. So when you go to cross that street there, because Riverdale Country School's right across,
Right.
and a lot of people do cross there because the bank and the other side is there. If you're gonna cross that, you can't time what that light's gonna do. And then that turns fast, you have the fast traffic coming flying at you.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm gonna give my PSA that I give all the time, right? As a pedestrian, I tend to only cross at designated crosswalks, right? I'm not dismissing what you said. I agree, there should be some type of marking there, right? However, I think as a society, we have gotten conditioned to just crossing everywhere, and it's not,
Whether it's society
listen, can I finish my statement? I am not discounting anything you're saying, right? But we also, part of our role is to also educate.
Not gonna educate people on the corner though.
But I can't say that. I cannot say that. I always have to be optimistic when I'm speaking. While I understand your
I've
position,
been on traffic and transportation long, I've been bringing this up every year.
while
You're
I,
not as educated yet, so it's not,
it doesn't matter. Unfortunately, people only hear things when it directly impacts them.
They're gonna get hit, I almost myself.
Right, and that's also why I don't do it, because as someone who, I have two family members that were hit at different intersections in the city, right? And some of them, and both of them were they had stop signs there. And the people, so that's just, we have to educate, we have to try and solve both problems.
I'll bring books out, so people have to cross the street.
We have to try and solve both problems, right? So I don't wanna be dismissive, but I also, want people to be mindful of their responsibilities also. We will do our part, but people have to do their part, okay? That's my opinion. You don't have to agree with it, but it's my opinion. Great, you have it. So we have that, you're going to get the exact location, right, on Johnson Avenue. I'm putting 237 in Johnson for now, but you can email me, get it in a minute, right, streets. Okay, and also what is that, by Chase, 238?
238 Riverdale Avenue. Actually, it's both, and if you cross the street, the same thing. There has to be some kind of traffic signal added there, or a crosswalk.
I doubt they're going to add a traffic signal, because
Well, before it gets hit.
I doubt they're gonna, because the traffic signal is literally 50 feet
It's at
away.
the next block,
Well,
238,
okay,
they're not gonna,
Fly in there. They come
I know they
Okay,
do,
but
but they're not
I know
gonna.
they do, but it,
You agreed with me last year on the phone and everything.
There's a camera
Camera,
going
camera,
northbound.
right.
You agreed with me on the phone with this, and now all of a sudden it's,
No, I,
he said it was an issue too then. Need something, yeah, it needs a crosswalk with something in it. Pedestrian and a cross, and white signage, so they know that people are crossing there.
Anything else? Any other issues that people are aware of? We can't make it, cannot make a if we tell them generally, the new one that they just installed, I don't think that's gonna happen, but we can certainly put the K-Pock and Johnson, the new traffic signal that they put there, he's suggesting that that's traffic signal from midnight to 6 a.m., is what you said? Just turn the flashing yellow.
No, somebody got killed there, they ain't flashing nothing.
Well, I will say my issue with that concern, with that intersection, is not the light that I'm stuck at, it's how they configured it, actually.
I lived right there at 510 K-Pop Street, I lived right there at 510 K-Pop Street, and when I was a kid, there was no island, nothing there. My mother was pushing for a stop sign there for years, never mind what was going on there with that lady, and I knew that woman, so that really destroyed me. But
my issue with that intersection is how, because the buses don't have enough space to turn, so the radius for the buses turning goes south to continue, they come over on the.
It worked, right. When they put that island, it made it 10 times worse.
Yeah. And the markings for you're coming from, what is that? Coming up Edsel, which turns to Johnson, and what's the building that's right there? No,
the Winston Churchill,
the Winston Churchill, the tall high-rise building, the Winston.
not the blue, what's known as the blue building, the Winston Churchill's next to it.
Yeah.
2500.
That's it, 2500 Johnson.
Pretty good.
Right, 2500 Johnson Avenue, that's the building I'm speaking to, how they have the markings there. That seems a bit too wide for me, so I don't know what they were thinking there, so they may have to look at reconfiguring that,
I like that.
that intersection. I think because of the issue that happened there, they rushed through it, but in rushing through it, I don't think they really looked at real data.
If they would got rid of that stupid island, the buses would have enough room to make that big swing.
Yeah.
There's enough room when you're coming up the hill, they can reduce.
Right, it's turning the opposite.
Yeah, yeah.
The whole thing was a disaster.
Now, this is the light that this bothers you the most, because I have one that really bothers me. Riverdale and Greystone Avenue. Stop, nothing comes out, nothing goes in. You're waiting for what? Nothing.
There should be a sensor.
They only have it on at certain times.
Well, it's on,
Snow,
it's on every time I'm coming up or down.
the other day in the snow, they had it off.
That's it, thank you for clarifying that.
It's in the street, they should have.
Do you remember they originally put that light up, and then they removed it, and then it became a flashing yellow thing?
Yes.
And then that went out, and then all of a sudden, it was like, I don't know.
People kept on getting hit.
And by the way, you see people blowing through this light, including the buses.
What they need is a sensor.
I'm probably the only one that stops for it.
Right, it should just be a free-flowing street.
Mhm.
It's Crystal, I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Like, she's fine. Crystal's like, she's fine.
You're so quiet when I forgot you were there. Sorry.
Any other possibilities? If you can't think of, this is a great start.
That's why it's good we start early, because otherwise it goes,
DOT should have.
Not big on AI, just so you know, but go ahead.
I'm an actor, we fought against that.
The intersections for the most.
Actually, the precinct should be able to give us that information. You send me an email, keep me honest. And I say this, and Ms. Sylvia knows because she serves as chair, but the chairs, we receive a lot of information throughout the month, and it's just, there's no way to keep up with it, and, you know, being a chair is like having another full-time job, quite frankly. So,
And you don't get paid for it.
well, I wasn't gonna throw that part in there. I signed up for it. But, again, because I am just the chair, I am the voice, the liaison between the agencies and the office. I am not the committee, so if you ever have any issues, I'm going to ask that you please send them to me. Then this way I can funnel them to the agencies. And if it's your issue, what I may ask you to do is to be the POC, the point of contact for that issue, because it's just a lot. I can say as the traffic person, that I probably get, I wanna say, 8 to 10 emails a day from the office, and that's not an exaggeration. I think that's actually lowballing it, okay? And then all the follow-up items that I'm responsible for coming from the meeting. So I'm just asking you to continue to be my eyes and ears. Okay? Does that work for everyone?
Mhm.
And even with the lights, you get to hang out on Johnson Avenue and watch. It's like the cartoons, you gotta put your toe out first with the light, because they come flying at you.
They're used to driving
No, but it's on Johnson and,
on Johnson.
on 235th Street, you're like,
A lot of it's
come flying at you. The guy goes,
delivery cab.
he almost ran me down, and he goes, oh yeah, you like my Mercedes, right? I go,
And I will,
you run me over.
and I will say, yeah, driving habits now are terrible, and it's gotten, in my opinion, I don't wanna say overall, in my opinion, it has gotten exponentially worse since the pandemic. And also, I think too, that a lot of people who play video games think that cars are part of their video games, and they're going to have a big problem.
You described it perfectly.
You could describe it any better. Does anyone have any other issues they wanna raise?
I have an accolade to give somebody,
Okay, we accept accolades.
to, Assemblyman, Jeff Dinowitz.
Okay.
He got, us a toll rebate,
Oh, yeah.
and he's been talking about it.
Yeah.
And if you haven't gotten this in the mail yet, I brought it as Exhibit
Yes,
A,
I received mine.
a blue envelope.
I received mine.
Go on the Easy Pass website and get yourself enrolled, 'cause that way you can sail on through and don't have to pay the Henry Hudson Bridge anymore.
$15 when you get downtown, though.
Not yet.
Not yet, that might be held up, 'cause I see there's a
The
little
Lower
contingent
East
down, the
Side,
Lower East
yeah,
Side
Lower
is
East
gonna
Side,
fight it.
yeah,
I think that's gonna
fight it,
hold it up a
yeah.
little longer.
You should fight it, yeah.
I just wanted to give props where they're due.
And make sure you memorialize that in a minute, seriously.
It's gonna be memorialized.
Okay,
I got it all under control.
all right, I'm just reminding. Right, if there are no,
I'll make a motion to close.
is there a second? Okay,
On the end.
does anyone oppose? Okay, thank you. Crystal, thank you for staying with us to the end.
Thank you for having me, and Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year, Crystal.
Yeah, and we will send you the information as we receive it, okay?
Yes, please,
Just
keep
to
me
make sure
updated on
that-
everything. I appreciate it.
Okay. Perfect, thank you. Have a great
Thank
one. Stay
you.
safe
Have
and
a good
warm.
evening, everyone. Get home safe.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Crystal, you look like you're ready for the impending snow that's coming in.
I actually just got home from work right when the meeting started, so I couldn't even get